So this is going to be real quick, but the backlog I've been working towards has not improved. So here's where I'm at currently. It is July 24th in Zone 9A, NorCal, Sonoma County. I've been harvesting a good cup to half a cup of cherry tomatoes every 3 or so days. I've been harvesting about a cup of blackberries off of this bush and the bush over there every 2 or so days. I've recently refilled a lot of the beds around here with some top dressing of compost. I haven't gotten as great of a tomato harvest this year, whether it's because I'm having to be more sparing with my watering because of the drought, and also I've had a lot of pest damage from rats taking bites out of the tomatoes. But my peppers are finally coming along. You can see there's a few there on that one, and some of the ones back there have a few, but this is not looking like a great pepper year either, although that eggplant in the back there might surprise me yet. This one here hasn't really changed in like months. These were wonderful. These are being wonderful this year. This is the black raspberries, and I'm getting only about a handful off of it every other day, but there's so many on here still, so I'm hoping that the weather stays great for that and that it continues to produce. The rhubarb's going great. I've harvested a bunch off of it, and then I've just trimmed it because it needed to be trimmed, and I've got more rhubarb than I can use, so that's great. I recently trimmed these, the Brad's Atomic Grapes. They're, I think, the most behind out of all of the tomatoes I have, especially the cherry tomatoes, so we'll see if that actually comes to anything. And the ones back here, similar problems, pest issues, lack of as much watering as I did before, so I'm not surprised I'm not getting as much tomatoes this year. Over here, for most of the late spring and early summer, I wasn't getting anything off of these, and I realized I had to be more diligent about watering these specifically. And now I'm starting to see a whole new round of berries that will hopefully start to ripen soon. These were transplants from out under this giant, I'm pretty sure it's a Japanese green pumpkin plant. Those are the starts I got from my neighbor. That took off, covered the whole thing. There's one more squash over there that was doing well, but these, I think these are melons of some sort. I will double check. But they were kind of languishing under the shade there. So I moved them here, and they seem to not, they're finally recovering from the shock of transplant. I took as much of the root with them as I could, and hopefully they'll continue to do something. These over here, some are springing back quicker than others. From out of here, and from out of the bin over there, I took what I could salvage of the green onions after they had flowered. So those are springing back nice. This is my one determinate tomato plant that still remains. I've pulled all of the others because they were just not doing well with the limited watering. And this one I'm getting very, very small fruit off of, but the plant itself doesn't look dying like the others did, so I'll keep it going. This is a mix of, there's potato plants here, there's a very few amount of the beans that actually came up, and then this is a watermelon that I am trellising up a tomato cage, so hopefully I'll get some fruit off of that. There's lots of flowers, so hopefully we'll get fruit. Like I said, this is the Japanese pumpkin. Here's a nice small one. I have harvested 2 so far off of this that were about twice the size of that one. And I put one into a squash soup, and I'm trying to decide what to do with the other one. But yeah, I've noticed recently that a lot of the fruit are not getting pollinated. They're just, the flowers are dying, the fruit are small and yellow, and then they just fall off. So we might be at the end of this squash plant. I've already pulled my pick and picks and my delicata squash. This down here is, I thought it was giving up, but now it's got 2 new fruit on it, so we'll see. Yeah, and here's the other pumpkin there. It's coming along, so it's still got some fruit on it. I'm not gonna stop it now, but yeah, a lot of the fruit are doing this. They're turning yellow and starting to rot and fall off, but it's still putting off new fruits, so hopefully it'll continue to be pollinated, and maybe I can continue to get harvests off of it. The cherry tomatoes over here are way behind the ones over there. I think it was an issue again with the watering, with what's been going on here. I have some of these strawberries have completely dried up and are brown and crispy, and I don't think I'm going to be able to save them, but some of them are bouncing back. Like this one's got flowers on it again, so hopefully I can get a second round of strawberries this summer. Hopefully. I do have to be conscious about how often and how much I'm watering because of the drought, so we'll see if I can facilitate that. First bed over here is just going wild. I harvested a few melons off of this plant, but they were very underripe, so I'm waiting longer. But like this one's already like a third again bigger than the other ones that I pulled off. So, but it's still very, it's still very hard, and the little stem attached to the fruit is still very green. And there's lots of little melons on this plant. Like there's another one back in there, this one right here. There's lots of melons on this plant that seem to have gotten pollinated properly, so I just have to keep it watered. And then that's a cantaloupe that I'm hoping does as well as this if I can keep these watered enough. Like I said, I pulled the green onions out of here, replace them with some new strawberries. I'm hoping some quinlet strawberries with the pink flowers, so I'm just hoping that if I can keep these better watered than say like the ones along there. Like I said, I've been harvesting using the chair to get up high and this hook to like grab the stuff on the other side that's between the trellis and the fence. And yeah, I've been getting a decent amount of blackberries this year, which I'm really happy. They ripened like a whole month early, and they didn't all just shrivel up on the vine because of the fires. So we haven't gotten a whole lot of fire smoke in Sonoma County yet this year, but I mean, that could change in an instant. So yeah, that's more or less how the garden's doing.